Death row, the final stop for some of the world's most infamous criminals. For many, the last meal is their final request, a moment of humanity before facing justice. But some inmates have made bizarre, shocking, and downright strange requests. Today, we're counting down the top 10 strangest last meal requests on death row. Number 10. A single olive, Victor Feger. Victor Harry Feger was a convicted murderer and the last federal inmate executed in the United States before the moratorium on the death penalty following Furman v. Georgia, as well as the last person put to death in the state of Iowa. In 1963, Victor Feger asked for one thing: a single olive with the pit still in it. Why? Some believe it symbolized peace, while others speculate he wanted the seed to grow into a tree after his death. Number 9. A feast for the homeless, Robert Buell. Robert Anthony Buell was a former planning department worker from Akron, Ohio. In 2002, he was executed by lethal injection, still denying involvement in the crime that he committed involved with children and women. Robert Buell's request was unusual, not for himself, but for others. He asked for his meal to be donated to homeless people. While the gesture seemed selfless, it couldn't be honored due to prison regulations. In the end, he was also given a meal with a single black, unpitted olive. Number 8. A lump of dirt, James Edward Smith. James Edward Smith was born on October 19, 1952, in Jefferson County, Kentucky. He worked as a tarot card dealer in New Orleans, Louisiana, and later went to work as a taxi driver in Houston, Texas. Smith was originally scheduled for execution on May 11, 1988. He said, "Life is a temporary situation. The spirit moves on. Death is like eating a prune in the morning. It's a natural function." The day before his scheduled execution, Smith requested a last meal of Riacunda dirt. He intended to use it for a voodoo ritual that he believed would assist his reincarnation. The prison denied this, offering yogurt instead. Number 7. Nothing at all, Aileen Wuornos. During 1989 to 1990, while engaging in street prostitution along highways in Florida, she shot and robbed 7 of her male clients. She was executed on October 9, 2002, by lethal injection. Aileen Wuornos declined her last meal, choosing a simple cup of coffee instead. Her chilling final words? "I'll be back. Like Independence Day," she said, or The Terminator. In the feature film Monster, 2003, Wuornos' story is described from her crime until her execution. For her portrayal of Wuornos, Charlize Theron won the Academy Award for Best Actress. Number 6. All You Can Eat, Lawrence Brewer. Lawrence Russell Brewer was a white supremacist and had served a prison sentence for drug possession and burglary. Before his execution, Brewer ordered a large and extensive last meal by requesting 2 chicken fried steaks with gravy and sliced onions, a triple patty bacon cheeseburger, a cheese omelet with ground beef, tomatoes, onions, bell peppers and jalapenos, a bowl of fried okra with ketchup, 1 pound of barbecued meat with half a loaf of white bread, 3 fully loaded fajitas, a meat lover's pizza, 1 pint of Blue Bell vanilla ice cream, a slab of peanut butter fudge with crushed peanuts on top, and 3 root beers. When the meal was presented, he told officials that he was not hungry, and as a result, he did not eat any of it. The meal was discarded, prompting State Senator John Whitmire to ask Texas prison officials to end the 87-year-old tradition of giving last meals to condemned inmates. Number 5. A Veggie Pizza, Philip Workman. Born on June 1, 1953, at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, Workman grew up in a military family on various Army bases. He later joined the Army. Shortly after his 1973 discharge, Workman was sentenced to 5 years in prison in Georgia for burglary and drug possession. He was convicted in 1982 for the serial crime to a police officer following a robbery of a Wendy's restaurant in Memphis, Tennessee, and was executed by lethal injection. Workman requested a vegetarian pizza, not for himself, but to be given to the homeless. While the prison denied his request, his gesture inspired many to donate meals to the needy in his honor. Number 4. A Single Pea, Odell Barnes Jr. Odell Barnes Jr. was a construction worker in Texas. He was convicted by the jury after 3 hours of deliberation and sentenced to death shortly after. Barnes kept it minimal, asking for just 1 pea. His last meal request was not really a meal at all. All he wanted was justice, equality, and world peace. Was it a statement on the futility of the death penalty, or simply a last act of defiance? We may never know. Barnes was executed by lethal injection on March 1, 2000 at the age of 31. Number 3. A smorgasbord of junk food, Ricky Ray Rector. In 1981, after shooting at a man and a police officer in a restaurant and fleeing, Rector spent 3 days on the run before he agreed to turn himself in. For his last meal, Rector requested and received a steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid, and pecan pie. Rector left the pie on the side of the tray, telling the corrections officers who came to take him to the execution chamber that he was saving it for later. The slice of pecan pie was not disposed of until Rector had been executed. Number 2. A whopping calorie count. John Wayne Gacy. John Gacy committed serious crimes against more than 30 men and boys from 1972 to 1978. He became known as the Killer Clown due to his public performances as a clown prior to the discovery of his crimes. Gacy requested a 12-piece bucket of KFC, fried shrimp, French fries, and a pound of strawberries. As a former KFC manager, Gacy stuck to what he knew. He was executed by lethal injection at Stateville Correctional Center on May 10, 1994. Number 1. Nothing. Ted Bundy. Theodore Robert Bundy was convicted for the crimes related to dozens of young women and girls during the 1970s. After more than a decade of denials, he confessed to 30 murders. The total number of his victims is likely to be higher. Despite being offered the standard last meal, Ted Bundy declined any special requests. He received the regular prison meal, steak, eggs, toast, and coffee, a stark and eerie end to one of history's most infamous criminals. And there you have it, the strangest last meal request from death row. What do you think these meals say about the minds of these criminals? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories from history's darkest corners.